Hour 2, hit that like, subscribe, Patreon links everywhere. Just click on it.
Everything. Appreciate y'all joining us for hour 2. So continuing on with the top 30 visits, some of the RAS talk or the athletic threshold talk. Coach Lynn says, and he probably has a frame to put on 20 pounds. No doubt. No doubt he's got the frame for that. At least 10, right? Mm-hmm. And like Drew D said, not only was it every one of our draft picks, if you include Jordan Morgan, but also some of the undrafted free agents.
This probably not going to work out in my favor, but like if you were to just look up Rashawn Gary's weight as he came out of college versus where we have him at right now, look at a picture. You know what I mean? Look at a picture of him coming out of college. Look at a picture of him now in the NFL. There's no way he hasn't put on muscle mass.
Yeah,
just not a chance.
And I want to say he played a little heavier in college. I could be completely wrong because I do remember thinking, are they going to play him inside? Are they going to beef him up to be inside?
Right.
And I think
That's right. He did play down.
They actually trimmed him down a little bit, but like you said, muscle mass just bang. He's which he was one of the highly recruited prospects going into college. If I remember correctly, I think he was the number 1 recruit.
That was just like that Oregon day, right? You said where Packers went to that Michigan day looking at a lot of people, but had their eye keyed in on one.
Yeah, and that's back to William Lofton's question. That's the one I was going to get to there. Let me close this out and get back to the draft board real quick. William Lofton, what was it he asked Emilio? It was something along the lines of Oregon's Pro Day, right?
Yep, right there.
Go ahead and read it one more time.
William Lofton said, did y'all answer the question on how y'all feel about the multiple members of Packers scouting team going to the Oregon Pro Day? That was just us kind of referencing. That happened previously at the Michigan Pro Day with Rashawn Gary's draft.
Mm-hmm. So if we go and sort here, this is what we came up with, William. So Oregon, in terms of players from Oregon at the top of the list.
You know what I do? Oh, I was going to say, if you're going to scroll through them, no problem. You can also just type in Oregon Clay and just hit the arrows.
Do that real quick. We did it last night and it worked like a charm.
Yeah, okay.
So if we go to Oregon, and this will include Oregon State too, I imagine, but we'll make sure we cipher through. Yep. So the top player on the board for Oregon players is actually Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle from Oregon. Okay. Now,
can I just say this one thing, Clay, before we go? DJ was talking. He was talking. He goes, now it's kind of funny how Mimbo's talk is that he could be that top tackle now, and that Campbell could be slipping a little bit. He said that Mimbo might be the top tackle climbing up the boards, and Campbell could be slipping a little bit.
I can see it, man. I can see it. We've talked Mimbo up the whole time, haven't we?
Yeah.
And let me just give you a little. Let me cheat here a little bit. If you go up to Mimbo, he got the googly eyes and a wrestling background. Don't be surprised if he comes in for a top 30.
I'd be excited. I'd be excited.
I just don't think he's going to be around.
I know.
So that's what sucks. So, yeah, Josh Connerly Jr., he did not get the googly eyes, though, however. So when we get to the offensive line aspect, we'll probably do that on another show. We'll talk about the thresholds for the offensive line. Yeah. But he did not get it here initially, unless I made a mistake, and that's where we'll double check. So anyway, Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle from Oregon, might be one they're looking at, but I think it's Derek Harmon. And again, look at the threshold. He meets the threshold, right? He's in the 26th spot on our board, right there in that sweet spot. Mm-hmm. I think that they were all at the Oregon Pro Day to mainly look at Derek Harmon.
Yep.
Get a little closer to him. And who knows, when you go to one of those pro days, maybe you can get a little bit of interview time with them and you feel comfortable enough to go, we're good with him. We don't have to waste a top 30 visit on him. You know what I mean? That could be the case too. So you can kind of double dip. Next on the list here is Jordan Burch. You got to go all the way down to 72 to find Jordan Burch, defensive lineman. Right?
Clay, let me ask you, would you think that if they get a chance to talk to him right at the pro day and then they still bring him in, is that maybe a double target, or is that something that they maybe didn't get to see everything they saw at the pro day, wanted to, double check one thing?
I don't know, man. I really don't, because you never know who they're actually there to spend the most time seeing,
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, if it happens, we'll have the cheese and the target, and that really says a lot, right? So
absolutely.
Jordan Burch, though, so Josh Connerly did not meet the threshold. Jordan Burch did not meet the threshold. The only one so far is our boy Derek Harmon, right? Yes. So let's go on down the list here, see if there's anybody else. Tez Johnson, wide receiver, Oregon, he did not meet the threshold. Jordan James, running back, he did not meet the threshold. Johnny Cornelius. Am I saying
Yep.
that right? Ajani, offensive tackle from Oregon. He did not meet the threshold. Dylan Gabriel, quarterback, did not meet the threshold. Terrence Ferguson did. Tight end Terrence Ferguson.
Uh-oh.
He's in the 134 spot for us, so he's got the athletic profile. All right. Next, Jeffrey Bassa, linebacker. He's got the athletic profile as well, the threshold. Jamari Caldwell, defensive lineman, does not have it. Joshua Grays, Oregon State. Jabbar Muhammad, cornerback out of Oregon. He does not have it. You got Gerald Christian Littingham, however Jacob said it. He's one, I think his nickname is Tank, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
I think that was him. I could be wrong. One of his nicknames Tank. Anyway, the Packers met with him at some point. He's got the cheese emoji, but he's not an athletic threshold guy. Cam Alexander from Oregon, cornerback, no. Trayshawn Holden, wide receiver, no. Tysheem Johnson, safety out of Oregon, no. Jamal Hill, linebacker out of Oregon, he does meet it. Now, we have no grades on him whatsoever, so we need to work him up because that athletic threshold's perfect. That might be one of those we've seen, 3 or 4 undrafted free agents that we end up grabbing?
Yeah.
That will be one of those guys, too.
We might need to, I know we've tried to dive in, but before the draft, see if we can't pull a number just to get those
Absolutely.
NAs.
My goal is anybody that the Packers met with or they have an athletic threshold marker, we need to make sure they've got a grade. Even if it's
about 30 of them. So anybody that's in the Patreon group that's dove through the draft board, scroll down to the bottom as it's organized. If you see anybody or have any info on anyone down there without a number, shoot that over and we'll get it updated.
Sounds good. All right. So hopefully that answered William's question there. Let me make a note here. Emilio, anything else you want to add that's on the forefront of your mind right now before we move on to something else, man?
No, I don't. I don't know. I'm pretty excited, honestly. But looking at it, there was a lot of talent for them to take an eye at Oregon, though it wasn't everything you might have first thought. Hey, I'm fine. You have to get your eyes on somebody. The tape can tell you so much, but you got to meet the person.
Absolutely. All right. We already kind of talked defensive tackle a little bit. I think it was this morning we talked about someone had asked, I think it was Crossfire, a.k.a. Hugh Jass.
Yep.
He actually had messaged me and said, hey, can you differentiate with the defensive tackles of where they're lining up and everything, right? And it's tricky, Emilio. It really is, because when you're doing that, what you got to take into consideration, like you do an AI search and it may say this guy's a nose, and he is a nose and a base, but he played the majority of his snaps in the B gap because people were in the nickel a lot.
Yep.
So what I tried to do was take into consideration those things. Like Walter Nolan, he's it showed him as a one tech is what it said through AI. Like, hey, this is a guy you want playing one tech in a 4-3, which is essentially Kenny's job. However, the majority of his snaps came, if I remember correctly, in the 3 tech because they were in nickel a lot because you get a lot of 11 personnel in the SEC. So
right.
That's something to keep in mind. So before we get into defensive tackles, since we kind of brung it up, why don't we get to that news we uncovered earlier today, man, which I know you were probably cracking up. I got so excited about this. You guys remember when draft season first started here for us, right? And we started diving in. I made a list. You could probably find the tweet. If you search @Packers_access, the Oval Office, no, I'm just kidding. If you go @Packers_access and you search Walter Nolan with that, it'll pull up one of the first draft tweets I had of the draft season. And it was, these are the guys who are really sticking out to me already. I should do it right now just for craps and giggles. I remember putting that tweet out. Walter Nolan was on that list. I think James Pierce Jr. was on that list too. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But Walter Nolan was like, man, this is a dude who's hands down seems like the best defensive tackle prospect for me. Well, now he dropped all the way down to like 27, right? Well, today he got the Greg Cosell bonus. He jumped all the way to 19. And Emilio hit me up and was like, man, do you think that's enough of a bonus because how much Greg Cosell raved over him, right? So I'm going to play this quick soundbite for you guys here. This was Greg Cosell over on One Bills Live, which is a Buffalo Bills podcast, if I remember correctly. And they're just talking draft with the GOAT, Greg Cosell. You guys will see, you in the Patreon group, you have access to our board. You'll see a GC column where we're giving bonuses there. These are people that Greg Cosell absolutely loves in the draft. So It's almost like Greg Cosell, Daniel Jeremiah, Dane Brugler are like our head scouts, and that's how we set our board up. Here is Greg Cosell on Walter Nolan, and tell me if I'm freaking out for no reason here.
I personally believe that Walter Nolan is the best defensive tackle prospect in this draft class.
One more time, Greg.
I personally believe that Walter Nolan is the best defensive tackle prospect in this draft class. He is a power 3 technique. He is really, really strong. He has numerous plays in the SEC that were reminiscent of Jalen Carter's tape at Georgia, where he just had that transcendent, confined space, strength, and power, where he just physically moved and displaced offensive linemen. And he's got quickness to him as well. He played low with excellent leverage and what I call short stroke strength and power. He's got a twitched up explosiveness to him. As I said, he's a power 3 technique. And I thought watching his tape, because I watched him last summer when he was at Texas A&M, and then he transferred this year to Ole Miss, and they had a really good defense with a lot of players, both at the combine and who will get drafted. And I thought Nolan, to me, was the best D tackle prospect in this draft class based on tape.
So I'm just telling you right now, when I heard that, I went, oh my gosh. Guys, you understand there's a guy in this draft, and his name is Mason Graham. Mason Graham is the number 3 prospect on our board.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Prince.
Look,
I'm not trying to be creepy or anything, okay? Y'all don't take this the wrong way. I was in the shower listening to this show earlier today, and when I heard that, I went, as they say, don't drop the soap. I about freaked out. I was like, above Mason Graham? Are you serious? What do you think about that, dude? Because, again, we're just going to give him a 5-point bonus. But that's why you hit me up. You said, damn, what do we do? Give him a 20-point bonus?
Seriously, because the fact that Greg Cosell puts that much faith into him after everybody for how long now? Months and months and months. Mason Graham has been the one. You don't need to run. You're going top 5. You know, that kind of talent. I think Walter Nolan could make a name for himself, man. I really do. I think that we do have to give him a specific bonus, maybe not 20, but I do think we need to talk about it because that's something that we really need to consider, just being able to jump him that tier. I mean, I think he at least deserves another tier jump from Greg Cosell because there's that much faith in him.
Yeah, and this cracked me up right here, man. What we're going to do now, we'll just kind of segue into defensive tackle thresholds, okay? In this picture, I think this is Shamar Turner from Texas. I think is who this is. Look at him laughing at the quarterback running for his life. I just love this. And obviously, everybody in the picture that I shared.
He's Turner's Texas A&M. So
who is this right here? Who is 95? Who am I thinking of here? Because he's going to be on this list.
That would be nope, Jade Barnes.
I didn't want to spoil it, but we'll do it anyway. Here we go. We'll come right back and give everybody all these names.
Alfred Collins. Sorry.
Alfred Collins. Okay. I knew it was somebody that the Packers had already met with, if I remember correctly. Yep. So, I was like, let me find an Alfred Collins picture for this thumbnail. Look at him laughing at the quarterback. He's like, oh, I got your ass. Love it. So here we go. Narrowing down which defensive tackles best fit the Packers' athletic threshold. We're diving into the 2025 NFL draft class with full combine data, blah, 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 everything I read earlier today, okay? It says the Packers under Brian Gutekunst love versatile, athletic big men who can stop the run and rush the passer in their 4-3 scheme. With the combine wrapped up, we've got official measurements, height, weight, arm length, 40-yard dash, 3-cone short shuttle, bench press, vertical, and broad jump to match against their standards. I'll cover all draft-eligible defensive tackles who tested, highlighting those who fit Green Bay's mold. So here's what we got in terms of the thresholds, okay? The Packers target defensive tackles who can play multiple gaps and disrupt in Jeff Hafley's aggressive 4-3 front. Pass picks like Kenny Clark, 6'3", 314, RAS of 8.87, and Devontae Wyatt, 6'3", 304 pounds, RAS of 9.62. Set the tone, big, strong, and quick. Here's what they look for. A height of at least 6'2" 6'3" is preferred. Weight of 300-plus pounds, 290-plus edge-capable hybrids. Arm length, 33 inches. That's obviously length to shed the blocks. 40-yard dash, sub 5.1 seconds on the 40-yard dash, speed to pursuit. 3-cone drill, sub 7.7 seconds. Short shuttle, sub 4.6 seconds. Bench press, 25-plus reps. vertical jump 28 inches, broad jump 8 foot 6 inches, and a RAS of 8 plus. Okay, the athletic freak rule. So it says, here's a rundown of notable defensive tackles from the 2025 Combine using official stats from NFL.com and post-Combine reports. I'll list their numbers and flag those who hit the Packers thresholds with RAS estimates where calculable. So Mason Graham, surprise, surprise. Now, it's saying he's a little light at his weight because it set him at 299 pounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look, just fart twice that night instead of 3 times, and you'll be 300 pounds.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Arm length, 32 inches, so that's a little short for them, right? 40-yard dash, 4.92, 3-cone, 7.45, short shuttle, 4.52. All of that seems to meet. So when you look at Mason Graham, it's a perfect thing on this athletic threshold. Would you say 1 pound and a little bit shorter arm length would deter you from taking the best defensive tackle in the draft if he was there at 23?
Dare you?
Absolutely not. Right? So that's a perfect example.
Yes.
Mason Graham meets the criteria. Kenneth Grant meets the criteria. Okay. It did not run, but they're saying projected 5.15 is his 40-yard dash. He's 6'3", 339 pounds. Arm length, 34 and an eighth of an inch. So pretty impressive there, right? He did not test the bench press, however. So you're going to see some of that stuff that you got to kind of leave void. But based off the information we got, probably going to fall in that range. Obviously, Kenneth Grant is a high-end first-round pick, most likely. Here's our boy, Walter Nolan. Let's see how he stacks up. 6'4", check. 305, check. Arm length, 33 3/4, check. 40-yard dash, 4.95, check. 3-cone, 7.62, checks out. Short shuttle, 4.55, checks out. Bench press, 28 reps, checks out. Vertical, 29.5, checks out. Broad jump, 9 foot. RAS, 9 plus. Estimated. Fit. Yes, Nolan's size, speed, and power are perfect. Jumps and agility clear the bar. Day 1 to 2 still if character checks out. So Walter Nolan, after hearing Greg Cosell, if he's there at 23, run the card up the million. What are you thinking, man? So far, we'll continue to hit these, but what do you think so far?
I think it's spot on. It's crazy how it comes full circle when we've been talking, hey, our Kenneth Grant's going to be the dude that falls to us. It's going to be, we're going to take an edge. Mike Green might fall to us, James Pierce, whoever. It's pretty wild how it all just comes full circle. You talked about Walter Nolan probably back in January, February, whatever, when we first started cranking into it. And he just gets lost in the shuffle. Some of these guys just bounce around, and we just end up not talking about them because we've taken the same guys the past, 3-4 weeks. I'm glad that Greg said it early and said it now. I hope he didn't say it too early that everybody gets wind of it. But I like that. We're ahead of the game on it.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not saying that I would take Walter Nolan over Kenneth Grant, right? Our board suggests otherwise. I'm saying I believe it does. Let me double check here. Kenneth Grant's in the 16 spot. Walter Nolan is now in the 19 spot. I'm just saying when you hear someone like Greg Cosell say this dude right here is, like Chris said, if Nolan is anything like Jalen Carter, which he comped him to, he's like, man, he's got that power rush like Jalen Carter. We need Nolan. Amen to that. That's what we're talking about in a true 3-tech. Coach Lynn said that's a name to keep our eye on for sure. Completely agree.
And if he had gotten a -7, he'd be above Kenneth Grant right now. With Greg Cosell's -5 bonus, he's at 21.9.
Yeah.
If he had a -7, he'd be.
And I don't want to fudge it too much.
No, I know.
But that's the number I came to too, though, Amelia. Like, if Greg Cosell raves over a guy, give him a 5-point bonus. But if he says he's the best at that position, I kind of feel like that. And on our board, he's not the best at that position. I think that could warrant a 7.
Yeah. Well, yes, I like it. I want to get Tim's take, and we'll ask Jacob, and we'll see. But I do love that because we went with 6 for any RAS that was a freak of a 10-0. I think that's well warranted, right? Instead of the -5, let's get you a little extra bonus and move on.
And like with Tyler Shuck, we've got him in the 130s. Greg Cosell said, I've got him as QB2. Yeah. I'm like, you have no idea how bad I want to just take him straight up the board.
Yep.
But he didn't say he was the best at the position. So we're just going to do the 5-point bonus, and we'll leave it at maybe a 7. I can justify a 7 there. Just something to grab our eye when we're up there in Green Bay doing the draft show that we go, Oh, that's right. Greg
That's it.
Cosell raved over.
That's it. That's why we want the RASs of 10 O's of a 6. All right, perfect. 5s, you're in the 9 to booming up. Greg Cosell, -5, likes to do, we're going to put it on the list. I think that, we definitely need to get a number on there, but it's perfect.
All right, moving along, Tyleek Williams. It shows that everything meets the threshold here. It says fit. Yes, Williams, 6'2", is short, but his weight, length, and athleticism, fit, strength, and quickness align. Day 1 to 2 potential. Next, Dion
because just real quick on Tyleek, we were talking about him beginning of this whole process. Like everything has been coming full circle. When was the last time we talked about him? I know you mentioned him. I think it was early. You and Tim maybe earlier today, but he just gets lost in the shuffle. When we pull up the chart of the D line performance and all that stuff, we see his name. We thought we were going to take him. We thought maybe we need a nose guy. Maybe we need T.J. Slayton replacement. It's just wild.
Yeah, and we've got him in the 39 spot currently on our big board.
Yep.
So that's where he's at right now. So Tyleek Williams, keep an eye on him. Deion Walker. This is the one that's really interesting, right? Going into the offseason, he was a slam dunk first-round pick. Now, obviously, he had the back injury. We need the Mike Tyson drop where he says, I broke my back. Remember that? What did you do? Spinal. Remember that? We need that drop. So, obviously, scored a 3 on RAS. And I can't remember who said it. You guys take credit in the chat, whichever one of you typed it in last night or yesterday, whenever it was. They went. Devondre Sweat was in the 3s, and he was arguably the best defensive tackle that came out last year, at least converting to the NFL. So keep that in mind. But Deion Walker, 6'6", checks the box, 348 checks it. Arm length definitely checks it, 35.5 inches. 5'18" is a miss on the 40-yard dash. So they're saying, okay, he's too slow. That misses. The 3-cone, 7.75 checks out. The short shuttle, 4.62 misses. Okay. Bench press, 26 checks out. Vertical checks out. Broad jump checks out. And the RAS is an estimated 8.2. Fit, it says yes. Walker's a giant, 6'6", 348, 35.5-inch arms. His 40 is slow, but agility and jumps barely hit. Power, 26 reps. Fits, first round nose tackle is what they're saying. All right. So, again, will he go in the first round? I highly, highly doubt it. But he's probably going to be one of those somewhere between second to fourth. I would imagine somebody will take a swing on him.
Absolutely.
Next is our boy Derek Harmon. And listen, 6'5", 320, 34-inch arms, 4.97 40-yard dash, 7'6", 8'3" cone, short shuttle 4.58, bench press 25 reps, vertical 28.5, broad jump 8'8", RAS 8.5 estimated. Fit, yes. Everything across the board. All metrics clear. I think that's the first one we've seen so far, Emilio. Am I right?
I think that's the first one that because each of them had something else.
Did Walter Nolan have one? Let's see here. Size, yes.
Jumps and agility clear the bar.
So he's perfect too. Are perfect.
Okay.
So Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon are absolutely perfect up at this point. All right. So it's just something to make a mental note of. All right. Alfred Collins, 6'5.5", 332, 34 7/8-inch arms, 5'05", 40, 7'7", 3-cone, short shuttle 4.6, bench press 29 reps, vertical 28, 8'6" broad jump, RAS 8.3 estimated. Fit, yes. So that one checks all the boxes as well. It says his size and length are elite as well. Okay, so there's a third one, Alfred Collins. And again, why did I put him up here on the screen grab? That's why. Because and when you look at where Alfred Collins is for the value, he's one that might not get talked about as much as others, right? But when you look at him on our board, on our big board,
43.
He's sitting in the 43 spot, right? So Packers met with him. He's on the radar. That might be the Jordan Morgan pick this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to keep in mind that it's anybody above 23 of our pick. Obviously, anybody below, but we need to go 20 spots above, easy, on our board, on any board, just to try to get an idea of who you think could be that poll.
Yeah, and again, to compare apples to apples here, Alfred Collins was at the Senior Bowl, right?
Yeah,
he was at the Senior Bowl, and so was our boy Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan got the 5-point Senior Bowl bonus. He dominated the Senior Bowl.
Yep.
So if you were to try to create a cluster buster or a tiebreaker between those two that are perfect fits, Walter Nolan wins. Now, when you look at Derek Harmon, he was not at either, I don't believe, the East-West Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl, so we don't have that bonus. So as of right now, it's kind of like I kind of feel like it would be Walter Nolan 1, Derek Harmon 2 in this cluster here, and then Alfred Collins. But Alfred Collins, I'm telling you, man, that kind of feels like the Jordan Morgan pick, where you go, I wouldn't mind him. Like when they took him, I looked at the board and went, makes sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't like my best offensive lineman on the board, but it made sense.
But it's nobody that's been projected to him, nobody that's been on Mel Kiper's board, on DJ's. It hasn't been on his mock draft, things like that. It would be something out of the blue, no one saw it coming, that Gutey would definitely pull the trigger on.
Definitely. Next is TJ Sanders out of South Carolina, 6'4", 297. He's a little bit light, about 3 pounds short, right? Or 3 pounds shy, I should say. Everything else seems to check the box. Fit, yes, Sanders, 297 pounds is light, but his 4'9", 840 and agility, fit, strength, and length work. Day 2 to 3 options, so that's another one to keep an eye on there. Where do we got Sanders at? Do you have any idea where we got TJ Sanders? Right below Alfred Collins in the 44 spot. There you go. Now, keep in mind, Alfred Collins does not have an RAS bonus yet, and TJ Sanders scored a -3 there.
There's a possibility we might get some from pro days, or no? The RAS?
I think we probably will. Okay. I think we'll be able to fill a lot of these in. I remember last year, though, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I remember last year, a couple of days before the draft, throwing my pen on the table going, why the hell can I get some kind of RAS for these guys? Because, the ones who've got it, they're going to get a little bit of a bump.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you don't have anything, they're not getting that bump. But, it is what it is. AFM said, did y'all say bump? Shut up, AFM. Some of y'all got that. Darius,
you're an amazing person. You know that.
Darius Alexander, 6'3", 296. So he's light. His arm length, 32.5. That's short. 40-yard dash, 508. 3-cone, 760. Short shuttle checks. Bench reps, 30. Pretty stout there. Vertical, 28.5 inches. Broad jump, 8'7". RAS, 8'4". Fit is borderline. Alexander's under 300 pounds with short arms, but his 30 reps and agility are strong. Day 3 sleeper is what they're saying there. So
he had a -5 on the RAS, so he actually was over 9. And
wow.
That's just a quick reference we can have, having that -5, having our brackets, knowing where our numbers are. That's what I like.
I like it too, man. Appreciate you looking at it. Where's he ranked? We have
him at 79th.
79. Okay. So that's someone that you might be looking at, like, I guess that would be day 3, right? Yeah, day 3 sleeper. There you go.
Or day 2, early pull.
Never know. CJ West, 6'2", 316, 33-inch arms. Everything is a hit other than the vertical and the broad jump. Okay. Vertical was 27.5 inches. That's a miss. Broad jump, 8 foot 5 inches. That's a miss. Fit, it says yes. West, 4'9", 540 at 316 pounds is impressive. Vertical misses, but strength and size fit. Day 3 to 4 value. Where do we have CJ West at?
107. You have him at D-line 1, Indiana East-West Shrine. Packers met with him, and he fits the criteria.
Got it. So it's saying, you see what I'm saying? Like some people will go, nope, that's a miss because of a little. I love how this did it with AI. Is like it's putting it right there in the ballpark, and then it'll give you the best fits at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So here they are. Here's the final list. Here's all the guys that we gave the mark to on the draft board saying, hey, these guys are fits, okay? Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, Tyleek Williams, Deion Walker, Derek Harmon, Alfred Collins, TJ Sanders, and CJ West. Those are the ones that we gave the check to. And again, if you guys disagree with it, let me know. Let us know in the Patreon group.
Oh, that's what I was going to – yeah, I had 2 that you reminded me real quick. From earlier, Coach was asking, why would Birch not hit the thresholds? Mm-hmm. And then they were kind of wondering on that. But going back to it at pro days, he said, knowing Gutey's probably asking about 2026 people. And that could be too when you walk into those pro days, peek your eye at the talent there.
Was Birch an edge or a D tackle?
He was a D tackle.
D tackle. So he was not on the list at all, was he?
Correct. Yep.
Now, if they missed significantly, they've not been put on this list, is what it seems like. You got to double check it. What was his RAS score on our board?
Birch, we don't have an RAS for him. 33rd had him 69th, Dane 51, DJ doesn't.
Okay.
So that's one we might need to do a little dive on.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Coach. Appreciate you, man. I'm going to get RAS loaded up here. It takes forever to load. So we'll let that sit there and spin for a second and remind me. We'll go back and see if anything's been updated for his RAS.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the stuff we need. You don't need. We have eyes on it, but
absolutely.
For so long, Clay's been looking at numbers all day. I'm sure it's just turning to mush. Yeah.
I got up at 6 this morning and started doing it. Did the morning show, took a break, did the morning show, and then went right back to doing it. Literally, Mandy came over and was like, "Are you coming downstairs today?" Like I was just. She came in and my eyes were completely crossed. So I was
all while trying to recruit the next draft class for 2029.
Exactly, got to keep Notre Dame on top, bro. So here's the verdict: top fits are Mason Graham, Walter Nolan, and Derek Harmon. Athletic freaks with size, speed, and power to dominate in Green Bay's scheme. Kenneth Grant and Deion Walker bring rare size length, with Grant a wild card pending the pro day. Tyleik Williams and by the way, Kenneth Grant's pro day was yesterday, right? So we should be getting that information soon. Nice. Tyleik Williams and TJ Sanders offer day 2 value, while Alfred Collins and CJ West are late round steals. Darius Alexander misses on size, but could sneak in with his strength. This class is stacked. Packers could pair any of these with Kenny Clark, is what it says. So,
gotcha. And to clarify, that's on me. Coach Lynn, edge
is an edge.
Fred Burt. So, but that's my fault because on our board I have him in there as a D lineman.
And it's weird because there's a couple of those that I looked and like, oh, that's definitely a D tackle. And then you look at his snaps and like, played on the edge. Like, what do you do?
So should we change him position wise and in his name position school to edge?
You know what? That might be why he didn't kick into the system here too. But he's not on D tackles either. It's weird.
Right.
Yeah, we got to do some digging there. So we need to.
We'll talk off. We can talk off.
Yeah, just make a note. Don't let me forget, man, because I'm looking at so many names. What we'll probably need to do is put him down as an edge. What's his size? Do we have a size on him at all? We don't, do we?
I could probably pull it up real quick. 2 seconds.
Let's see if his RAS is loaded yet or not. Nobody's trying to sell me shoes right now on ads. So, let's see here. Birch. I'll see if I can pull it up right here, Emilio. Birch. Jordan Birch. Yeah, it's not even showing. It's showing
PFF does have him as an edge. They have him at 6'6", 295.
Mm-hmm. And right now on the RAS card, they've got his height at 6'4", 279, and he's listed as a defensive end. So we're definitely going to use him as an edge. So remind me, and we'll compare his measurables. The problem, guys, and the reason he probably didn't even pop up, we have no agility testing yet from him that's in the system, and we have no what's the other thing? The explosive test. We don't have that yet. So we'll definitely put him on our board as an edge, though.
Yep, his position has been updated. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. You guys think I'm just blowing smoke, and I'm like, this is a us thing, the chat, the Patreon group, the whole community. Like, this is how we put the best product out and have the best information for the draft, in season, training camp, everything that we cover here. I love what we do, man. I love it. It's an absolute blast. So, Coach Lynn, you guys put in the real work. Can't wait to see how right we are on draft week. Amen to that, man. Really, the top 30 visits, if we can get all of that information leaked out, boy, we got this thing narrowed down. Somebody responded to a tweet after Knucklehead got in there and showed his ass. They responded and said, we could really probably just go off the top 30 visits. You create a draft board with it, and you're probably good to go.
Yeah, we did all this work. We could have just waited till the end and just said top 30. About a third of them are going to get picked by the Packers. Perfect.
Exactly. So, all right, what else have we got here? So we've covered all the defensive tackles. Any other questions before I take this off the screen here, Emilio? You see these names, man. There's not one of them I see there at where they're projected to be picked that I go, I wouldn't like that pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it. That's exactly it. I'm not mad at any of those numbers. I think we've been eyeballing it since the beginning. We need to at some point. If it's not the first round, second, it's got to be done by the third, I would think.
All right. Definitely. All right. So there that is. We're good on that. We hit the defensive tackle threshold. Emilio, you got anything else? I know you've been listening to a lot of pods. If you ain't got nothing, it's cool. Do you got anything that you want to say here before we wrap up, man?
The only other one was who would you rather have was the Alexander versus Farmer question.
Got it.
The question is Darius Alexander. We have him as D lineman, D line one tech. On our board, 79th is where we have him. Farmer, on the other hand, is 193 with a D line of a 0. Okay. But Farmer, -5 Senior Bowl. DJ has him 39th, 33rd team, 125. Dane Brugler, 88, and his RAS was a -1. With Alexander, he did not have where did I have him? 2 seconds. Alexander was -5 at the Senior Bowl, so same bonus. DJ had him 50th. No on 33rd team. Darius Alexander didn't make the top, was it 150 for 33rd?
Mm-hmm.
And then Dane Brugler with a 67. He got the -5 RAS. So the freak difference level of -5 being a 9.0 to a 9.9 versus a -1 being a 7.0 to a 7.9. I know it's not the completely same comparison, but they all went with Alexander, which is probably what we're going to do as well. I think it's just a fair comparison to do, and I think that'd be kind of fun as we're getting closer. We take two guys that are real close in numbers. Would you rather? Maybe we cover their number up and say, all right, pick out of the hat sort of thing, because that's how they were saying they narrowed down their board. You get the cluster of guys in that number. Who would you rather? At some point, we have to narrow that number down. We can't always say we want 4 of them.
Yeah, and Ryan talked about this on his pod the other day, Packernet Podcast. If you guys haven't heard it, make sure you go check it out. Just search Packernet Podcast. It's where you can find this podcast on that same podcast network as well. But he was talking about that very thing, like, with the clusters and everything, right? Yeah. You got to, when you talk about draft boards and you talk about mock drafts, people laugh at mock drafts. You're wasting your time. Nobody's going to be able to guess. Nobody's trying to say, well, I don't want to say nobody. We're not trying to go, look, we figured it out. We got the best mock draft. We'll have contests and have fun with it and everything. But teams right now are doing a ton of mock drafts. And what they're going to have are different draft boards for different scenarios, right? Like if this team takes this pick, they'll probably have 3 different mock drafts. And this is a very, very minute comparison. 3 mock drafts where each time that team will take one of their top 3 needs. And then you look at, okay, who was available on each of those? And you get this group together. Okay, more times than not, these 3 players are available when we pick at 23. Are we happy with that? Do we want to try to trade up? If there's 7 players that we like there, do we trade back? All those things come into play when it comes to those type of exercises. So
it does. And the chat's trying to beg for it. They're screaming mock.
Boy, I would get killed, guy. We're at an hour 24.
I know. I was gonna say I don't want. We still need to get on the flight to get up there. But Mandy's got a month to work with, and we need him still.
It's so tempting, man. I've been staring at this stuff all day. I would love to do a mock. Drew said do an 8-round mock.
Just the speed round?
Do what?
Just the speed round mock? No, I don't want to get Mandy. I don't want you to get in trouble.
We'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. Emilio won't be here tomorrow, so we'll do it tomorrow. That's how it works. Yeah, A-Fan. Don't ruin this marriage. It's already ruined.
You can do a 1-round mock and just take the first pick, make everybody happy, slice it down the middle.
Coach Lynn said do a 2026 mock. Love it. Now, listen, we appreciate y'all. If you're hearing our voice and you want to support the show, people, reach out all the time and ask. Joining our Patreon group is more than enough, right? And it's just the $3 tier, the cheapest tier, gets you everything. Mm-hmm. Every one of these write-ups that you guys are seeing, these breakdowns of the thresholds and anything that comes up in Packers news, like we did a breakdown the other day of McCole Hardman, right? Like, hey, here's his career. Here's kind of his career recap. Here's what we're getting in him. All those things are on that Patreon group, as well as a multitude of chats where you can ask questions for the show. Again, it's a way you can support the show, but also get a little bit more value out of what we do here.
And anybody that likes messaging or commenting in the live chat while we're running live every night, if you like to do that and you only get the 2 hours or whatever it is, hour and a half to talk to people in here, once you get in that Patreon, it's over. I mean, it's like you open up a text message and everybody that wants to talk Packers is in there. So
definitely. And we're going to be doing another giveaway. So anyone who's a member of one of those 3 tiers, and again, it can be the $3 tier, we're going to be giving away some autographed cards here. What should we give away first, Emil? Let me ask you here. We just gave away 2 Lucas Van Ness jerseys that are being mailed out. They were autographed by Lucas Van Ness. We've got cards that were donated by a great listener, Jazambi. Appreciate him. We've got an autographed Mason Crosby card. It's got a piece of the jersey in it, a little jersey patch in it, right? We got an autographed rookie Kitano Ladapo card. We got an autographed Javon Bullard rookie card, an autographed Bo Melton rookie card, and an autographed Sean Ryan rookie card. Which one should we give away next, man?
Wow. That's a tough one. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to win next.
AFAM says win a date with AFAM. The Patreon group just disbanded.
Yeah, we lost everybody.
Here we go. I like this. I like what Drew said. Do the Crosby one since he was just put in the Packer Hall of Fame. I like that, Drew. That has some meaning behind it. Let's do
like that too.
All right, we're going to do it. And again, Jazambi donated this and said, keep what you want. I'm keeping this one, boys.
How come I don't get a chance to keep what I want? I don't get any offers here. I'm over here paying member of this tier. I can't win a spin on the wheel. It's rigged. Oh.
Look at that. Look at that one of one that Jazambi put together.
Dude,
he created this custom for this one. It's sick, and it's got the Jordan Love. I think it's a rookie card. Yeah, a rookie card on the inside. So
that is so clean.
Anyway, though, yeah, we'll give away a Mason Crosby card. So just make sure we'll probably give it away. Let's see, tomorrow is Saturday. We'll probably do it next Saturday. Okay, we'll give it away next Saturday.
Okay.
The autographed Mason Crosby card. So
you got time. Get in the Patreon group.
Thought you were saying we got time to do a mock. No, we don't.
Well, yeah, maybe.
All right, we're out, guys. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Hit that like button for us. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're on Rumble, we're on X, we're on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube and you say, "Hey, man, I'm on the go. I like to listen to podcasts," go search Packernet Podcast, PACKERNET Podcast. And that's where our show's at. Sub to that. Listen to Ryan's Packernet Podcast. Awesome podcast. That's Ryan right there. Thank you, sir. And then if you're listening on the podcast and you're like, hey, sometimes I'm at home cooking dinner, whatever, hanging out with AFAM's girlfriend, whatever. And you want to watch on YouTube, just go to YouTube and search for Packer Fan Total Access or Packers Total Access. So thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys were awesome tonight. Thanks for your help on the boards and everything. We'll see y'all tomorrow, possibly tomorrow morning. I got to run it by the boss. All right. So definitely tomorrow night, though. Probably not Emilio. Definitely not Emilio in the morning. He'll be asleep.
Oh, yeah. Been a long week.
All right. Everybody have a good night.
There we go.
Bye,
guys.